Happy to see you guys here for the 40th installment of The Road to the NBA series here on College Sports Revived, and to celebrate 40 episodes, we're going to be having a 40-minute long marathon, so grab your popcorn for the video today. It's going to be a long one, but an exciting one, as we face Portland in the first round of the playoffs, and if you guys are acquainted with the series, you already know that whenever the Portland and New Orleans rivalry pops off, it's always an exciting game. So before we jump to the playoffs of year 3, we're going to take a look at the rest of our friends and see how they did. Ferran finishes his 4th NBA season, his 2nd in Lakerland, as he sets a new career high in points per game, helping LeBron lead Los Angeles to the number 1 seed in the West. They'll be without Kyle Kuzma for a little while here in the playoffs due to a torn MCL, but this Lakers team is still one of the deepest in the NBA. Rui Hachimura was drafted here a few years ago in the series. The Gonzaga product continues to be a solid role player for the Lakers. JaVale McGee's playing a little bit dinged up, so they're probably going to see extended action from 7-foot rookie from Kansas, Udoka Azubuike. Moving on to the Mavericks and Deshaun down in the South. Deshaun, the first player out of any of the friends to average 20 points per game on a season. Despite finishing only 4th in the West this season and a very competitive top 4 teams, the Mavericks are still heavy favorites to try to make the finals this year. Kristaps is a little dinged up to begin the playoffs, but we have Luka putting up numbers that we've seen from no other 21-year-old before, and Deshaun averaging 20, 6, and 6. Seth Curry will be missing for the first few playoff series as well. That's 14 points per game off the board, but we can continue to scroll down, and they got plenty of depth as well. Jalen Brunson, one of the best bench guards you would want to have. And finally, the Pelicans, finishing number 2 in the West at an even 50 wins. The Unibrow had his best seasons in the last 3 years since I became a member of the Pelicans, with the highest scoring, rebound, and block per game marks since I joined the New Orleans Pelicans down here 3 years ago. And for me, career highs in points, rebounds, pretty much across the board really. The one thing that's taken a step back is my 3-point shooting, and my shooting as a whole has been pretty cold here in the last few weeks of the season. And that's been a big storyline. A lot of offensive adversity for you New Orleans Pelicans, as Josh Hart and Aaron Kately had good averages across the season. Kately finished 2nd in rookie points per game, just behind number 1 overall pick Anthony Edwards to the Spurs in this series. But even with their good marks at the end of the year, Hart and Kately have also followed suit and have had struggle finding their shooting strokes here in the late stages of the season. And it's been kind of a script flipper, as you could say. You know, the bench, as the season's gone on, the better they've played. So kind of a weird way to end the season, with us 3 having such trouble finding our shot and the bench starting to step up a little bit. As we all know, our bench has been our Achilles heel for a long time in the series. Now, we take a look at our opponents, the Portland Trail Blazers, and this was kind of a bad luck of the draw for us, as Portland is one of the scarier 7 seeds you'll ever see. Not even talking about the rivalry we have with them. Damian Lillard, the MVP of the NBA last year. Portland was the number 1 overall seed in the West. But overall, it's been just kind of a weird season out there in Portland. Donnie with career lows across the board. Very interesting to see that. Plus, Jusuf Nurkic was out for most of the year. And with some key losses in the offseason to their depth, like Hassan Whiteside inking with Toronto in the offseason last year, they aren't as deep as they normally are, but they still sport the number 1 NBA offense right now versus, you guys already know, the vaunted Pelicans defense. And that's the big storyline everyone's talking about heading into this playoff matchup, the high-powered attack of Portland versus the grit and grind defensive-minded New Orleans Pelicans. So, join me here in the Smoothie King Center as we try to write another chapter here in the historic Portland versus New Orleans rivalry here on the road to NBA 2K. A duo of 6'11 centers meet each other at half court. Richaun Holmes versus Jusuf Nurkic for the jump ball, and the series is underway. The year 3 playoffs, your Pelicans have the first possession. Donovan with career lows across the board here in his 4th NBA season. He wants to come out with a chip on his shoulder, and that he does. First possession for the Blazers. He soars up and slams it down on top of Anthony Davis. That's a matchup that everyone's going to have their eyes on in this series, as Anthony Davis won DPOI for us this year, but Donovan won it last year. So a pair of DPOI winners as Hart and Kately. He gets started into the box score here early on, and Hart and Kately had a great postseason back in college when he was my teammate. Our star shooting guard Mitchell Drew went down with an injury right before March Madness, but Hart and Kately, the freshman, stepped up and he helped me lead Texas to the first national championship in the school's history. So I have no problems with Kately starting and getting him the ball early and often here. I think he's got what it takes to be a man in the spotlight this series. So I exit the court with a 2-point deficit, an early 8 points for me, but the bench, man, I gotta hold my breath every time I come out of the game as the 2-point deficit shrinks, or grows rather, to a double-digit lead, but not after Glenn Robinson checks into the game. And speaking of Robinson, it's time we talk about the bench a little bit. There were some guys in the series off the bench who played really well, and some guys who couldn't rise to the occasion, as Tony Bradley, more second chance points let up inside, as he had a double-double in this game. Tony Bradley did. I had a hot start in the first quarter, so I tried to get it going there, no good, but Rashawn Holmes returns the favor, dunking all over Gary Trent, Tony Bradley, and anybody in his path. Some frustration definitely from Rashawn Holmes behind that, as he's been relinquishing plenty of offensive boards here in the early goings. But I rip Gary Trent, nobody's back to stop me, as there is a quick 10 points already in double figures, trying to gain some momentum for our guys. And now I stop Gary Trent on the drive, pushing it up the floor. Glenn Robinson, who surprisingly had a pretty solid series so far. When I briefly discussed earlier, some bench guys look better than others out here, Glenn Robinson was one of the guys who stepped up off the bench. And now a stop, or it should have been a stop I should say. I forced Gary Trent to a bad shot, but once again, Tony Bradley cashing in on the second chance opportunity. Now once again, I got Gary Trent's number in this half, but Tony Bradley retains possession, and that's just how it's been going for us. The luck has not been on our side as the lead swells to 10. Damian Lillard checks back in. I haven't seen a lot of him today. We haven't shared the same court a lot, but that doesn't stop him from getting a circus and one here with 3:36 left to play. As you guys will see as the games go along here in the first 3 games of the series, I think it was by design that head coach Terry Stotts of Portland didn't want Lillard on the same court as me as I go back door on him, hard foul by Donnie. And I think the main reason for that was whenever I was checking Lillard on defense, I did a very good job at limiting the former MVP. But when I was off the court, it was the Lillard show, as you guys will see in the box score, as CJ with a nice drop-off pass to Jusuf Nurkic. Big run for Portland as the first half winds down. Right now, just tough on both sides of the ball, but finally some defense being played. Josh Hart with the steal on Donnie. Pulling up, not quite, as Portland comes the other way. Nice dish from CJ up to Donnie as he puts in the finger roll, and that seemed to be the first half on offense for us. A lot of unfriendly bounces and pretty frustrating on both sides of the ball, as there's a lot of dejected faces, as you can see, from our Pelicans as they head into the huddle. And head coach Anthony Thornton sits me for the rest of the first half, and here we go. Like I said, don't hold your breath on the bench. Kind of an anomaly that they were playing so well at the end of the year, as they once again make the lead even worse. When there's smoke, there's fire, as we head into the break facing a 24-point deficit, and there's a lot of things to point the finger at. Our shots were not falling, below 40% from the field, getting murdered on the offensive glass, especially from Nurkic and Tony Bradley. That, on top of Anthony Davis only having 2 points, that's a recipe for disaster. Picking it up here in the second half, I've got Donovan on me, but I try to make the smart play, go into Anthony Davis. That is my key right now to try to get us back in the game. As a point guard, I need to make sure that our stars are involved, and Anthony Davis having 2 points at the end of the first half is inexcusable. Here we go, another chance to get Anthony Davis involved on the break. We love to lob down here in New Orleans, and we need plays like that, momentum shifters, to really get us back in the game. But how about Donnie making the Defensive Player of the Award winner look silly, gets him up with the up fake finishes. And here we go, Anthony Davis tries to return the favor, but it just was not his night. Donovan leading the break, so dangerous with the ball in his hands, especially in transition as he finishes over top of the rookie Kately, as our number 2 ranked defense continues to get slaughtered here in the second half, but up the floor quickly to Josh Hart, who had a very solid day despite facing a blowout. Now once again, I see Gary Trent with the ball, and I pick him for the 3rd time in this game. Right when I got a hand on it, I leaked out. Nice outlet pass by AD leading to a floater. 14 on the ball game. Now on this possession, I see Sivi Michaeluk, an inferior defender, on me, and this one, I just put a nice combo moves on the Kansas native, finishing on top of the defense. Not much resistance on that play. And another reserve piece here on the Pelicans who didn't shy away from the spotlight this series was Marcos Luzada Silva. Fancy spin jumper, hitting this one from beyond the arc as the former Brazilian guard continues his good game one. Now here on the break, we get lucky. This one rimming out for Damian Lillard. Finally some fight showing on the glass. The lead is still 20, but we got to keep our heads in it. Nice dish from Hart and Kately. I got 18 on the ball game, and the lead dwindles down to 18 as well. We finally get a stop, and I'm getting harassed, this time up the floor. A triple team comes at one point, but a nice job from Marcos Luzada Silva moving without the ball, popping out to the corners. He gets a lane to the basket. That is assist number 8 on the night. Damian Lillard takes me one-on-one. Another time I stop him on offense. He had trouble finding his shot whenever I was checking him. And a nice dish inside. Is that Luzada Silva again? Yes, it was. Soaring up for the two-handed jam as he's having a good third quarter as we try to put the pieces together to be competitive here in game one. Nice screen set by Josh Hart, a handoff to Nikola Mirotic, who had an up and down first 3 games of the series, but he gets that floater to fall. Another guy who created a lot of problems tonight on the offensive glass is the hometown friend, of course, Donovan Gray, as he puts in more second chance points for Portland as if they didn't already have enough. And unfortunately, more tough shots rimming out, leading to a Donovan dunk on the other side. And it's a 91-68 ball game. Things turning ugly here quick. Only going to recap a few more plays here in game one as we want to get out of this building as quick as we can. Jusuf Nurkic. Man, they got no mercy on that offensive glass tonight. But quickly up the floor. Is that Anthony Davis finally putting in a basket? I think it is. Man, he had a forgettable night in this one. Once again, Lillard short on a jump shot, but do I even need to say anymore? Jusuf Nurkic making us pay once again. Despite the Unibrows' horrible percentage from the field, I wanted to try to get him some ISO opportunities to try to bring some momentum in the next game as he makes a jab leading to a 3-pointer there. 16-point ball game up the floor, quick to Josh Hart. He handles the circus pass and he puts in the layup. And we only got one more highlight to show for you guys. And the problem is, it wasn't a highlight for our team. Donovan, you didn't have to do me like this. If there was one play that could summarize the night for us, it would be this one right here. Thought I had an open lane, and Donovan, the former DPOY winner, comes out of nowhere and snatches it out of the air. That shouldn't take away from my good game tonight. 26 points, 17 assists. Great defense on Dame Dalla, but I feel like that the individual success stops between me and Josh Hart as he only missed 3 shots. Anthony Davis with one of his worst career performances here in game 1 of the playoffs. Kately 4 of 13, and that's kind of been the MO for Hart and Kately. It's like one night Hart will play well and then Kately will be bad. The next night vice versa. It's just hard to get them both going at the same time. Tonight was just your typical case of them beating us at our own game. We were 5th in the NBA in rebounds per game, but they destroyed us in that category. Not to mention shooting less than 40% for a majority of the ball game until the 4th quarter, and them beating us on all the 50-50 balls. And that's what we should take personally out of this game. I firmly believe we're the most hardworking team across the entire league. The Pelicans are the ones known for diving on the floor for loose balls. We're the ones known for playing impeccable defense and crashing the glass, but they embarrassed us on our home court playing our own game, so immediately I called an impromptu practice. Everybody come down to the practice arena before tomorrow. We gotta get this crap sorted out. As a team captain here, I gotta take responsibility for our actions and call practices like that when I feel they're necessary. Hopefully, that blue-collar, grinded-out scrimmage is exactly what we need to get our heads out of our asses and start playing some basketball. And here we go, trying to get Anthony Davis involved early and often. One of the things I failed to do in Game 1, he drops in that layup over Lillard. And Donovan, being the energizer he is, tries to answer back, and oh no, is it starting again? Portland gets on the board again with second chance points. We are not going to have another rebounding game like we did last time. And here we go, bad defense on my part, helping out on CJ, and look who it is. Nurkic with 2 offensive rebounds for the price of 1. Was that scrimmage not even worth our time? I mean, are we not going to fix the problems that we made in the first game? But next possession, Kately lobbing Holmes. And that lob seemed to help us regain our composure a little bit as Nurkic yet with another opportunity, but this time I take matters into my own hands. I've had enough of that BS. Going up the break, the secondary break at that. Me against Lillard, I get blocked, but AD is there to clean up the mess. I'm hype. I'm hype for the unibrow. The energy's back in the building. This is the type of play that we need. We're the ones that sell out for loose balls and crash the glass. We have to stick to our guns, stick to what we know. Being the energizers, outworking teams, and unfortunately a little bit of a miscommunication there on my end with Josh Hart and Damian Lillard soaring up for the lob, as Lillard, even though he didn't shoot the best in this series when I was on him, he had a lot of ferocious jams, as you guys will see in the upcoming games of the series. But nice play, nice job Hart and Kately, great job moving without the ball, as I was able to find him for an easy layup underneath the rim. Finally having a lead here in the series, but Damian Lillard wants to hear none of that, as he then tells the Smoothie King Center to quiet down, as Portland quickly retakes the lead as I hit the bench. The bench performance was a little bit hit or miss in Game 1, and I checked back in with a 6-point deficit, not too bad from the bench there, as stepping into my first offensive possession on the court, might have gotten away with a bit of a travel there, but we won't talk about that part. We'll just talk about the part of me protecting the ball from CJ McCollum and scoring my second field goal, make that my third on the next possession, coming off a design play, nice screen from AD. And Nurkic steps to the free throw line, no good, and one of our favorite times to run as a team is off of a missed free throw. Leaving Hart and Kately wide open is the Portland transition defense, as he starts to look much better here in Game 2. And a bit of a blooper alert here on this play. I mean, me and Donnie, come on. Come on, Donnie. You're what, 6'7", 245. I'm at 6'1", $180 soaking wet. There's no way I'd run you over like that. I know this series is always physical, but pretty funny play there between me and Donovan. Now, shot clock winding down, going against the outstretched arms of Yusuf Nurkic, getting another one to drop, starting to heat up, starting to find my range here in the second quarter. And here we go. Me and Donovan go to battle on the boards. Couldn't corral it from him, but this time it's Anthony Davis showing some defense. And how about the rookie going against 2 Portland defenders, and he gets it to go on the break as we find ourselves back in front here with 2:15 left to play in the second quarter. No good from the corner that time from Kately. Can't continue his scoring run. And a nice dish inside from Sivy Michaluk with Donovan on the receiving end of a monster jam. And as we head into the intermission of Game 2, find ourselves with a lead, up by 1 right now. Maybe that scrimmage was really important for us to finally wake up here in the series, as Damian Lillard are forcing him into another miss. We're one of the youngest teams in the NBA, so we gotta run with all these fresh legs out here. And speaking of young players, it's a rookie tapping in the lob here on the break. My 4th assist is a nice one over to my college teammate Hart and Kately. On this play, one of my best passes of the entire playoffs thus far. My 5th assist, I pass out of my jump shot rather. Such a beautiful dime. Doesn't get much more poetic than that on a basketball court. And we finally find ourselves with a bit of a cushion. I try to extend it, but I can't push the lead past 5, as I couldn't finish over Damian Lillard and Donovan with a crafty post move right there. Donnie, the 4th-year pro out of NC State, continues to see success here in the series, but on this possession, he just gets outworked by AD. A lot of black jerseys surrounding him, but it was the guy in the white who came down with the rebound and flushes it down for some of our most fancy second chance points you'll see in the series. But Donovan stops and pops, gets AD right back. They've been going at it the entire series. And then on the next possession, something I've been waiting to see all series long, Richaun Holmes lifting off. Nice pass from Josh Hart setting up this slam, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Yusuf Nurkic on the receiving end of that poster. He's been so frustrating to deal with, so that was very nice to see. Man, he's been really a thorn in our side. After an assist to Anthony Davis in the last trip up the court, this one I find a catch and shoot opportunity. Another nice look from Josh Hart. This time he finds me in the corner. And of course, just like the last few months of the season, Josh Hart had a good game 1. Not very good here in game 2 shooting the rock, but you know what has been doing? He's been getting after it on defense as he rips Kent Bazemore. And another nice pass for him as he's made plenty of those as well. Plenty of dimes from Josh Hart as he leads the break and I finish it off. On this possession, I try a three-pointer, shooting less than 30% in my third season in the NBA. Not my bread and butter there, but how about Hart and Kately getting after it, fighting with Gary Trent, harassing him, and the ball is actually off Trent, so Kately forcing a turnover, which leads to another nice pass to Anthony Davis, leaking out after I drove, creating stops and scoring points off turnovers. Those are the Pelicans that we know. And speaking of turnovers, Kately forces yet another unreal defensive showing here in the third. I pull up green light one from the right wing, and on the next possession, I would green light one from the left wing. Great screen by Kostas Antetokounmpo, my summer league buddy from year 1. 3 years later, removed from year 1, and Kostas has been a diamond in the rough for us, and my green lights would not stop there. Right between the eyes, I had one from the left, one from the right, and one right in the heart of the court. 3 in a row, leading to a 13-point lead. We've seen not much of Damian Lillard here in the third quarter, and we've really been taking advantage of that, making a big lead which swells to 15 after I put on another nice move versus CJ. And we would enter the fourth quarter with a 16-point cushion. But Damian Lillard out of the game for most of the third quarter with some fresh legs here, barely not getting that one to go, getting a little bit lucky on our side of the things. And me and Damian Lillard going one-on-one. A nice series of moves, a spin, a behind the back, floater over top of multiple Portland defenders. Everything is dropping for New Orleans, and these are the Pelicans that we know. Finally coming back into action a little bit. Now we start to take it easy a little bit here, sporting a 16-point lead at this point in the ball game. Pick and roll. Josh Hart drives the lane. Tough game for him, and that will continue as Donnie sends it off the glass. 5:16 left to play. Gary Trent tries to drive. This one he would finally get to drop. And Portland maybe trying to make it a little bit competitive here at the end of the game. And we need to do what they did to us in game 1. We need to keep the foot on the gas pedal and not let them have a chance. And that's exactly what a bench guard would do on this possession. And you might be saying, bench guard? What do you mean? Who's going to step up now? And how about Marcos Luzada Silva with a bomb? He green lights it from practically the top of the key, showing off the range as his very good game 1 leaks over here into game 2. That 3-point bomb from the rookie out of Brazil would send Portland home packing with a 14-point victory. So 2 blowouts to begin this series, something I don't think anybody expected. That third quarter was so much fun to watch as 20 out of my 28 points came in the second half, most of those in the third quarter. Anthony Davis with a solid game. He didn't try to do too much, only 18 points, but he stepped up when his number was called and making most of his shots from the field. Richaun Holmes with 14 rebounds, really cleaning up his act from game 1, and Kately with a solid night as well. Damian Lillard, if you look at the face value stats, 27 points, not bad, right? Well, I was on him for majority of the second half, and he only shot 2 of 9. Another great showing from Donovan here in game 2. Nurkic, 16 rebounds, but most of those coming on the defensive glass this time. And honestly, going back to Lillard real quick, game 2 was very similar to game 1 in that aspect. I didn't share the court with Lillard a lot. I didn't have to match up with him not until the fourth quarter, really. And I feel like head coach Terry Stotts is doing that just so I don't match up against him. Stotts knows I'm very good against Lillard, and he's been almost a non-factor whenever I'm checking him. And to be honest, that's a pretty good game plan in theory, to have Lillard on the court whenever I'm not on it, or whenever I've been on it for a long time and Lillard checks back in and he has fresh legs compared to me. Pretty good game plan in theory. The execution's been a little off, but we'll see if that continues in game 3. And if we can beat Portland in the series, we'll be facing Jokic and Jamal Murray in the second round as they sweep their first round matchup against Utah. And the Mavericks also sweep The Timberwolves, up on the other side of the bracket here in the West, Deshaun with one of the best stat lines we've seen all series long from any character in the series. 27, 12 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals, 1 rebound away from a triple-double, a mean one at that. Moving on to the Ferran-led Lakers, he continues to partner with James as LeBron in his age 36 season. He's playing like he's 26 as Ferran closes out the Grizzlies. And while we're here, we'll take a pit stop and take a look at some of the averages of our series. Myself, some of the best basketball I've played in my entire career, 27 and 12.5, great defense on Lillard. Anthony Davis, stats looking a little lower than we'd like it, of course. We'll see if he can get it going in Game 3. And Kately and Josh Hart flip-flopping good and bad games in Game 1 and Game 2. Their percentages are starting to average out. Lillard with 24, but only shooting 43% overall. Can't ask for much better defensive performances on the former MVP. Donovan, 66% from the floor along with 17 points per game. And CJ McCollum shooting under 30% from the field. Sparkling defense from Hart and Kately as we traveled to the Northwest up here to Portland, and as a city, I love it up here. Portland's such a quirky city, really nice to be in, but to play up here in the Moda Center to try to get a win, that's the part of Portland I can't stand. Such an imposing, intimidating environment, and it's so hard to make it out of here unscathed. Home court advantage A+, I know you see that in the top right corner. So we'll see if we can do the unthinkable and go up 2-1 as Richaun Holmes wins his 3rd jump ball in as many games. And speaking of Holmes, 22% as a career 3-point shooter. Doesn't get it to fall, not surprisingly there, but AD punches it down as he tries to get it going, tries to rebound from his tough first 2 games of the series as he capitalizes with 2 early baskets as he gets it going. And if you wouldn't think Donnie does not have an answer, you must not know this guy. Come on, you've been watching this series long enough. Immediately with a jump shot right back in AD's face. And here we go, I'm making it hard for Lillard, trying to harass him, trying to deny him the ball. He still gets it in his hands with 2 seconds left. 1 second, Lillard, it's Dame time here in Portland. Lillard just like the unibrow right now as he tries to get it going after tough shooting percentages in his first 2 games of the series and a nice series of moves. I put on Kent Bazemore as I get this one to drop. And a bit of a weird possession as Josh Hart's called for an illegal screen, but I got the shot off before that deliberation. And thus, the basket would count. Gotta love that series of moves I put on Bazemore. But how about Donovan with his own series of nifty moves, putting in the right-handed layup over 2 defenders sporting Navy jerseys. But here comes Kately. Nice screen from Holmes. Coming off that pick, a high-arcing shot, that signature high release that we know and love from Kately, as he gives me my 2nd assist of the night tonight. Portland up 3 now with 3:53 left to play in the first. Good close out by Lillard, and here comes Donovan and AD continuing to fight. Such a physical series every time we play. Donovan comes up with a board, and he sports some of the best court vision we'll see from a big man in today's NBA. An assist to Lillard, and that leads to a timeout for the Pelicans, down by 5. Just like in Game 1 and Game 2, head coach Anthony Thornton pulls me with about 3 minutes left to go in the first, and just like in the first 2 games of the series, the bench, so unpredictable. We check back in facing a 15-point deficit, but I put on the moves versus 2 Portland defenders. Perfect job by AD, rolling off of that pick and roll, and we need to get it started now or else we're going to fall down 2-1. But CJ McCollum, he had his first good game of the series, but every time we inbound the ball quick, I always have my eyes up, fire that one up to AD who punches it down, and we continue on here. In the second half, the lead is still 15, but a design pick play as we keep the ball in the hot hands of Hart and Kately, puts in another contact layup. He's made plenty of those in this series, and he would not stop there. Josh Hart's been cold since Game 1 shooting the rock, but not on defense. He's stayed red hot, ripping CJ. How about a no-look pass over to my former college teammate who puts in the bucket plus the harm, and I'm running over there. I want to be the first one to greet him. Wow, Kately leading the charge here in the second quarter as we continue to fight, scrap, do anything we can to get back in this game. As the lead is now 6, good defense on Michael Luke by Kately, and we continue to run the break. Can't believe they forgot about Anthony D. Too much defensive focus on the fast break on me as I lob it up to him. Cocked that thing way back was Anthony Davis. The lead is 6, punches in another one. How about Josh Hart continuing his showcase of some delicious dimes here in the last few games of the series. I go back door on CJ, and it seems like the coach of Portland, Terry Stotts, is continuing with that game plan, not letting Lillard see the court whenever I'm on it, and this is when it starts to backfire. Every time Lillard's been off the court, we've been on a big run as AD and me hustling for that loose ball. There we go, that signature Pelicans basketball as AD has had a great first half, played some nice defense there, and going into the intermission, the bench stepping up, giving us a 4-point lead. Their performance has been up and down, but we caught them on an up here, and Damian Lillard looks hype, but we have him on the ropes. 21 and 10 for Anthony Davis in the first half of action, but let's put AD on the back burner for a little bit. We got to highlight this 360 by Dame Lillard, putting me on a poster. I brushed up upon that earlier on in the episode. Lillard with plenty of posters here on my head in this series. And how about a block from AD? And an even better outlet pass by Josh Hart. But look at his hustle, beating 3 Portland defenders to that loose ball. I almost got it ripped by Lillard, but Josh Hart sold out for that loose ball and cleans up my mess. In New Orleans, up by 7 now. I received the inbounds pass, have to force it up at the end of the shot clock. A decent look, but that's just kind of been the game, for me so far. I haven't talked about it a lot just because it's just been such a good team effort here in Game 3. But yeah, 2 of 6 from the floor. And for the first time all series, I've been struggling to find my shot. But a guy who's not struggling to find his shot, even when they throw double teams his way, the unibrow, the 9th-year man out of Kentucky, the generational talent, hitting a fadeaway. That's the shot of the night right there, over the double team. And Donovan with a tough screen to get over. He's so wide, he's so built that I just couldn't get around that screen as Lillard tags me from the three-point arc. But AD returns the favor, gets me a clean look over Damian Lillard, a step inside the three-point arch, and it was just so nice to see one finally drop. Now, Lillard attacking, and Richaun Holmes doing a great job canceling the second chance opportunity for Nurkic. But unfortunately, CJ was playing the pass the entire way, picks it off, and after Nurkic had a few chances to score on Holmes, Donovan makes it look easy. He only needs 1 attempt on this fast break chance. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Kately with a crazy shot, could not get it to drop, and here comes Lillard, giving it to CJ, and I'm trying to stick with him, but Kately bails me out. Here we go, up the floor, behind the back pass to AD. Wow, what a sequence of events. Getting it done on both sides of the floor here as your New Orleans Pelicans are playing the best basketball they have all series long. Ever since that dominating third quarter in Game 2, us Pelicans, we look like a championship contender, and Anthony Davis starting to look like that regular season AD, that Defensive Player of the Year award winner unibrow. But we jump back into the action. Donovan left wide open as he does his signature celebration. Wow. And Donovan, every time we got a little bit of breathing room, they've gone to him to make an answer. So, back to one possession game. This one I'm fouled hard on, and this is what I have to do when the shots aren't falling. Haven't shot many free throws this series, but I need to get to the line, get some easy looks, and I would drain 2 of 2 this time at the charity stripe. So hopefully that gets me going, but if my teammates are going to continue to hit shots like this one, nice secondary break over to Marcos Luzada Silva. If my teammates continue to hit their shots when called upon, I don't need to worry about scoring the rock. Now it's a 10-point lead. Donovan did it in one corner, and he does it in the adjacent corner as well. Another three-pointer for the 4th-year pro out of NC State, and now a drop-off pass from CJ. A big third quarter from Donnie G. And I get past CJ on this possession. I'm just looking for anybody to reset the offense to. And Richaun Holmes pulling up. I could not believe my eyes when I saw that drop, and I had to check mid-game. Just the same number on his jersey, a whopping 22% from beyond the arc in his career. Not to mention only a 44 standing shot three-point rating. When that shot went down, you already know it was going to be a special night. And here we go, Costas leading the break. Plenty of elevation on that slam as we've seen a lot more Antetokounmpo rather than Jahlil Okafor, as Jahlil just hasn't had it this series. Only 1 made field goal so far in the first 3 games, but Costas has been solid off the bench. I cough it up here, and of course none other than Donovan will finish the third quarter for Portland with an MJ-esque slam. One of the few Blazers keeping them in the game but it's going to be so hard for even Portland to compete with us when we're playing this well, especially on the offensive side of things. Already up to 89 points as a squad after that pull-up J on Damian Lillard to get the fourth quarter popping. But how about Donovan with his third corner three made in the ball game? High fives to the crowd as he runs by. Donnie G, a clear fan favorite here in Portland, as the lead's now 6, but Gary Trent turns it over once again. A very tough series for him as Marcos Luzada Silva continues to turn heads, as he showed some flashes in the regular season of future greatness, but he's putting it all together here in the playoffs, and nobody thought he'd be this good. And Damian pulls the trigger again, no good, but how about Donovan soaring through the skies, collecting another rebound. Big finish there, and look at the smile from Donnie, how about that? He's having a lot of fun while Portland is enjoying this run. Bazemore with a nice bounce pass to Lillard as he finishes the fast break with a three from the right wing, and the Blazers, just like that, so dangerous on offense, #1 ranked offense in the NBA, they're on a run. Here's Kately on a sideline inbound. What an attempt at an and one. Almost got it to drop too, as Kately is having a similar day to AD in game 2. He's just trying not to do too much and making his shots when his number is called. Perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. High percentages from both beyond the arc and from the field. This will give him 11 points, but he leaves it a little bit long. And here we go, Portland on offense now. Trent with a stellar pass to the cutting Lillard, as Damian saying it's Dame time. Here we go, 30-piece for Damian Lillard on the night tonight. And here we go, I get trapped up high, and that will be the easiest assist of the night. Only 12 points for me so far in the game, but I've made my money assisting the ball tonight, as AD, a decent look right there, but Donovan just gets enough of a closeout to knock him off his stride, and he finishes over Josh Hart as well. Portland, just like that, has tied up this game. These guys are so stingy, so hard to get him off our tail. A design pick play here for Hart as we try to get him more involved. Nothing doing there. Getting pressured inside the paint. Help defense comes. Kately, green light, green light. What a shot from the rookie with ice in his veins, as he's looked better the more the series has gone on. And a nice bounce pass inside from Bazemore, assisting, of course, this guy. Man, Nurkic, the classic case of you love him when he's on your team, but you hate his guts when you got to go against him, as he also knocks down the free throw. Tied up at 99. A pick play for Hart. Top of the key. That will rim around, and it'll drop. Back-to-back threes for New Orleans, as we need to try to get some more stops here, as the offense looks great. Defense letting up a bit too many points, however, as this is a team you can't trade baskets with, but we stay hot on offense. Assist number 16 to the rolling Anthony Davis, as he is near 30 points on the night. A quick 5-0 run for the Pelicans, as the lead is also 5, as we are below 3 minutes to play in this one. Great interior defense, but Nurkic, of course, his bread and butter this series. We've improved rebounding each game of the series, but it doesn't mean Nurkic still isn't making us pay, as here I go to Richaun Holmes, and oh my goodness, he had trouble locating the pass, but he manages to corral it and put it in. Thank goodness, that could have been a disaster. On the next possession, Damian Lillard, just a sliver of space, but the former MVP pops it and gets it to fall. 2-point game. Even though I've had the best of Damian on defense, he still is Damian Lillard, still the former MVP. But here comes Josh Hart with a big floater. Josh Hart is always going to step up and make a big play, whether it's on offense or defense. And here we go on defense, and wait, do you guys hear that? Is that a Damian Lillard beat in the background? Oh no, what's about to happen? Damian drives, and
they say the loyal don't budge and real G's moving silence, and thugs really in it, not the ones promoting violence. I know a couple in it that's trying to get up out it, and it's all street knowledge. They ain't get to go to college. A lot of people tapping in. I'm El Capitan. You speak on what we say and we'll never rap again. Now they made myself a villain surrounded by savages. Appreciate the struggle, cause now it's extravagant. That Porsche gotta hit me. Look what God sent me. Pull up in my gate and see a beam.
Jeez, Damian. Oh, I think I owe Richaun Holmes dinner after this game, because him getting embarrassed like that was all my fault. Not gonna lie there. But here, a big play. We gotta keep our wits. I've had a lot of scrutiny, people saying that I can't close out games. Well, there's one of my biggest drives in my NBA career. Try to talk after that one. And here we go. Ball rotation. Josh Hart for the dagger. No, comes up short, but Anthony Davis with a huge rebound, one of the biggest all season long. And even though it's Donovan checking me, I make the smart play. I go inside to AD, drawing a double team, 3 seconds on the shot clock, floats it up, a prayer is answered. Anthony Davis, the unibrow, delivers against the double team once again, 114 to 108, and that would be the finishing touches on Game 3, heading into the last 2 games of the series with a 2-1 series lead. This video took forever to make, but it was a blast, just reliving these crazy games. 36 and 18, 4 steals, 3 blocks. AD finally overcoming his slump to begin the playoffs this year. I had 14, 18 assists, not great from the floor, but I did a great job getting the boys involved. 17 for Kately. Glenn Robinson continues his solid series, with Sean with 11-11. And Josh Hart, even though he struggled on offense again, one of his best defensive showings of his entire Pelicans career. 37 for Damian Lillard. This was definitely the best game he had on me all series. That unique game plan of Terry Stotts finally paying off, but unfortunately for Portland's side of things, it couldn't amount to a win. CJ finally had a good game in the series, but 0 points in the second half though, so a little misleading there. 25 and 12, Donovan with one of his best performances of his career in this game. And join me soon, I'll be live streaming College Sports Revive going live to bring you guys games 4 and 5 as we try to close out Portland in this crazy rivalry playoff matchup to finally win our first playoff series in this series. If you stay tuned the entire way, thank you for 40 parts of this wonderful series. I've had a blast doing it ever since I started. A 40-minute marathon to celebrate 40 parts of the series that got me traction on YouTube, so thank you.